Let's talk about Delta Lithium. Here's our corporate snapshot. We have two main projects in Western Australia, our Unithara project near Gascoyne Junction and our Mount Ida project near Kalgoorlie. We have two JORC lithium resources at both of those projects. I think Australia-wide there's only 15 or 16 JORC lithium resources. Delta has two of them. And we also have a growing gold resource at Mount Ida. We have a very strong balance sheet, have 87 million in the bank, and have a very strong shareholder register, about 7,000 shareholders, and a very, very strong top four, Minres, Idemitsu, Japanese conglomerate, Waratah out of Canada, and Hancock Prospecting. There's our board. Chris Ellison needs no introduction, our non-exec chair. He and Josh Thurlow bring significant lithium experience to our deliberations. Steve Kovac is the CEO Australia for Idemitsu. He provides some very good insights into the Japanese market and introductions to the Japanese. Tim Manners is a very experienced corporate finance, ex-Ramelius, so he has a lot of gold experience. And Nader El Sayed, I've worked with Nader for many years. He's a self-made entrepreneur, runs his own civil mining business. So these are the ingredients of Delta that really underpin our value proposition. We have significant experience, life of mine vision across our entire team. There's lots of life of mine experience from go to woe approvals to commencing mines, building mines, closing mines down. Our major shareholders provide us with significant institutional backing, I guess. They've all committed serious funds to our business and provide us with a substantial strategic benefit, I believe, when the time comes for us to make the big investments in the mines that we hope to build. Location is everything. Located in WA, this state is built for mining. It's the best place in the world to mine. I don't think anyone will argue with that. Both of our main projects are in Western Australia. They are Mount Ida and Unithara, as I said before. We'll talk more about them in coming slides. And the upcoming catalysts for our business are Unithara workflow. We're getting into the weeds on the metallurgy up there. We are ranging further afield on our dominant land holding around Unithara, and we're about to spend a little bit of money at Mount Ida drilling for some gold. So let's talk about Mount Ida. We'll start there. Mount Ida is a very unique project. We purchased the asset back in late 2021. We purchased it for the gold. It's a very good gold asset. It has a strong history of high-grade gold. As luck would have it, we almost immediately discovered lithium at the project, and we've spent the last couple of years drilling some 150 k's into the lithium. We delineated a maiden lithium resource at Ida, 14.6 million tonnes at 1.2%. It is very high grade. It also has a significant tantalum kicker as well, 224 ppm is quite high. It also has a proximal gold deposit. Every time we stuck a hole in to drill the lithium, we seem to be finding more gold. And we finally got around to doing a resource, and we've come up with 752,000 ounces of high-grade gold. That does include the Baldock deposit, 674,000 ounces at 4.4, a very high margin ounces. That is quite a significant grade indeed, and what's most notable is that the Baldock and the lithium pegmatites are in close proximity, but they are in separate rock units, and they present a very compelling investment in underground infrastructure which you could use to access both of those separate rock units. And I will probably mention this a couple of times. Mount Ida is shovel ready. People throw that one around a fair bit, but we could go and dig this thing up yesterday if we wanted to. We have open pit mining approval. We're on granted mining leases, and we are expecting the underground approvals quite soon. So about the gold resource, it is shallow, starts from surface, extends to somewhere around 500 metres. We did discover it mainly by drilling the pegmatites, Sister Sam and the Timony, so it's a bit of a higgledy-piggledy shape. There's plenty of infill that we can do. I'll show you a slide coming up where we're going to be drilling the holes there. About a third of it's in indicated, and we've done an internal scoping study at Mount Ida, which had some very positive results, has given us great enthusiasm, and we'll probably spend $6 million drilling over the next 2 quarters at Mount Ida. There's some conceptual pit shells down the bottom there, showing a couple of the conceptual pits along strike, and they're quite good grade and look to be a good way to get some cheap ounces. So over the next 2 quarters, we'll put probably 40,000 metres of RC and diamond drill into Mount Ida for the gold. We've never really targeted the gold in any serious way, but this time around we'll be having a good crack at the gold. You can see on the long section there, the pegmatites are kind of steeply dipping pipes, not forgetting the strike length of that long section is about 3 kilometres, so they look a lot smaller on the screen there than they are in real life. That does demonstrate the pegmatites' close proximity to the Baldock lode, but as I said before, they are separate rock units, and they are in close proximity. You can see the pierce points that we've located on that long section show where the phases of drilling are going to be undertaken in the coming months. We'll start shallow and work our way downwards, gradually extending the resource boundary, following up on open paddock, high grade proximal gold hits, and we're very confident that the target we've set for ourselves, a bit north of 1 million ounces, is something that's well achievable. On the left-hand side there, the OVM chart is very compelling. For a couple of 100 metres of depth there, we're around that 2,000 ounce per vertical metre mark, and we're thinking it's going to present a very compelling mining opportunity when indeed we are able to release a scoping study. So this drilling, the aim is to build standalone scale at Mount Ida. We're in that sweet spot where the resource is probably getting to the size that shipping it off-site for processing somewhere else becomes a less economical proposition. So here's a regional map. There's plenty of high-grade gold hits around the perimeter of the granite. We'll follow up on those regional targets after we've finished at Baldock. It's about 12,000 metres that we'll put into the region, and there's numerous walk-up targets there. Some of those numbers are very compelling, and we'll certainly be hoping to repeat them. Unithara, our other main project up near the Gascoyne. We've been growing this project since we purchased it in late 2022. The maiden resource at Melinda, which is the first prospect that we've done the majority of the drilling at. We've drilled about 200 kilometres there. We have 26 million tonnes at 1%. The land holding up at Unithara is about 1,800 square kilometres. We've built that out recently, earlier in the year, with a series of farm-ins, and we think we've pinned down the majority of the prospective stratigraphy around that 33 super sweet granite, and we're gradually ranging further afield with our field teams to identify other lithium prospects, and once they've been heritage assessed and we enable access, we'll be getting into those prospects as well. I realise this slide's a little bit busy, but I put it on there to show the plan view of Melinda. The M1 pegmatite is at the bottom end of that map, the M36 in the middle and the M47 at the top. The M1's got the bulk of the tonnes. All three of those main pegmatites contain significant widths and grades of lithium. And as I said, we're in the weeds on the metallurgy, particularly on the M1. We've just finished a 5-tonne PQ coring program into the M1. We'll be doing closed loop pilot test on that to take the M1 to feasibility level. And then we'll step through the M36 and the M47 similarly. What we have seen from the early side of metallurgy is that the M1 produces a relatively clean, high-grade spodumene concentrate, and the flow sheet we'll be looking at for Melinda is whole-of-ore flotation. So this slide shows what our field teams are going to get up to or are up to at Unithara. Each one of those dots on the map is a soil sample, and that involves the team walking the land and taking these samples. It may seem like a trivial exercise, but you've got to remember that half of the year up here, the temperature's in excess of 40 degrees. Earlier in the year when I visited, it was well over 50 degrees up there, and you know, some of our field teams are very dedicated, and they're hard people and they love it, and they're wandering across the landscape up there picking up these soil samples, and we're using that data to identify the anomalies, which we then clear for heritage and tackle with the drill rigs. The first prospect that we got a crack at a bit earlier this year was the Jamison's prospect. That provided us with some very good early results. Some of the coarsest spodumene we've seen at Unithara, you can see it fluorescing in the little picture there. That was wonderful to see, and we'll be employing the same sort of enthusiasm as we get at Calypso, Talisker and other prospects later this year. All the while this is happening, other workflow, heritage, flora, fauna studies, the regulatory approval stuff and native title discussions are always ongoing. So there's lots of things going on at Unithara. So what is the Delta strategy? Just winding up. We have a strong focus on capital allocation and cash preservation. We do have a strong balance sheet, but we're not taking it for granted. We'll be using the cash prudently. We're building on our confidence at Unithara, gradually answering the questions, ticking the boxes as we move up the development time frame. Our goal is to develop an operating mine. That's the glittering prize that our team is working towards and is incentivised to achieve. And we will be looking at monetising the gold at Mount Ida. It's a very exciting time for us to be contemplating such a good gold resource at Mount Ida. We think it's extremely valuable, and it's only going to get more valuable with the drilling we're about to do there. And of course, as always, we're open to acquisitions that complement our strategy. Thank you very much.